Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and the great Gunpla new release drought of 2021 continues, so let's keep on going with some catch-up premium Bandai releases. This right here is the high-grade Build Divers Gundam Shining Break Before, and of course this is from the manga Gundam Build Divers Break. We've seen this kit once before with the regular old release, which is the Gundam Shining Break. We also saw Gundam G Self and Gundam GL, so if you want to see any of those reviews, check them out. But as for this right here, this video would not be possible without those absolutely fantastic people over at BUYEE. They sent it on to me, and if you want one of your own, link down there in the description. Jumping right on into what comes in the box, we've got the Gundam Shining Break Before itself, as well as these accessories you're seeing right now, which is beam rifle, shield, beam sabers, hands, and some stickers. I'll also mention, just like with the full release version of Gundam Shining Break right here, you do get a mammoth amount of leftover parts on the runners. So if you like this sort of thing, you like keeping these for customs or for modifying the kit that you have, then there is a lot of options in here. Once again, I'm not going to go through all of these parts like I did before, so if you want to know more about those, check out that original review. But anyway, on to the Shining Break Before itself. So jumping right on into the aesthetics, and the Gundam Shining Break Before is essentially what we would have seen before with the Shining Break. This is heavily based on 2011's Shining Gundam from G Gundam, just with a whole lot of pointy bits and wings and verniers all over the place to make this thing look like it goes fast. But I will mention right away, the one thing you'll notice with this kit is the nubs show up so much. When it comes to Bandai's darker plastics, you do have to take a lot more care when snipping them out and cutting away those nubs because they show up a lot more. The nub placement on this kit is all towards various surfaces, so be very careful when snipping this guy out. As usual, I just do the one snip off the runner with these kits, so if they do have pretty bad nubs, you will see them in the review. When it comes to the plastic, it isn't all bad here. Once you get past those nubs, take your time with those, you'll notice that this has two shades of that navy blue. This is extremely unique for a high grade, and where that comes from is the fact that the darker navy blue on this kit is the original navy blue from the original Shining Break, and the lighter shade was the white. I'm not sure how well this will show up in the video, but in person, this is a really cool effect. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this on a high-grade kit before. It gives it that little bit of extra dimension, and I will mention that none of this kit is pan-aligned except up on the face, so I really have to give props to Bandai for doing this. They could have done it all in the one color, they did not, and this kit is all the better for that. But you might have the question, what is the actual difference between the standard version and this besides that color of blue? And the answer is absolutely nothing. If you just got the standard kit, hit the white on it with a purplish navy blue color, then you'd have the exact same thing that we have right here. So is that shade of plastic worth the extra expense to you? That is a question you can only answer for yourself. As for the stickers we're getting here, for the most part it's just number 1 there for the eyes, 2, 3 for the head cameras, and all the rest are just black detailing for around the place. The ones I used were right there on the front skirting armor, but we also have some for blackening those little segments, and those little vent or thruster sections right down there in the front skirting armor. Besides that, the color on this seems quite accurate, so let's give it a bit of a spin. So there's that full 360-degree spin, and once again, this is exactly the same as the standard version of the Shining Break, except the white parts off of that Gundam are now a lighter shade of navy blue on this one. I will mention that every yellow piece on this kit does have a leftover glowing green piece, so if you wanted to swap those out for those, you could. Same goes for the cockpit hatch there, which is in that glowing clear green. That also has an alternate yellow part if you wanted to use that. Actually, we've got this whole runner in here twice, and the only difference is the yellow is yellow on one and it's green on the other. So some customizable potential, and the vast majority of a free beam rifle. So once again, jumping right on back to the beginning of the review, and there's absolutely everything that comes in the box, so let's check it all out. So as for hands, first off in here we've got a pair of fists. This is based off of the Shining Gundam, so that does make sense. It's ready to punch up a storm. Next up then, here we've got a standard set of holding hands with that rectangular slot. And as for swapping out the hands, it is super simple. You just pop them out, pop them back in again, ball joint attachment. And as for what they can hold, we've got a pair of beam sabers in here. One is super long, the other is medium long, once again left over from the Shining Gundam. And that right there is an example of what they look like attached. So pretty generic looking, but they are a little bit different because the beams are different lengths, and so are the handles. When they're not in use, as usual, you can stick them around here on the backpack for storage. Next up in here, we've got the beam rifle, exactly the same as what we saw with the standard release of the Shining Brake. We've got a foil seal there for the sight section and red on the bottom, that purpley navy blue up top. It attaches into the hand like so, that's what it looks like in a pose, and this does have a little bit of a drop and flip mechanism as part of the transformation, which we'll take a peek at later. Next up then, here we've got that shield. Once again, this is exactly the same as what we saw with the Shining Brake, except the Shining Brake was white down here. We've got that lighter shade of that dark purpley blue. Flipping on, never mind. This right here has some flip out wings, as well as a flip out handle right up here. The wings are part of the transformation, the handles for holding on to. As for attaching this, it's the usual, which is you pop it into the hand and it attaches via a peg into the back of the forearm. This holds on quite well. There's it from the front, there's it from the back, and this is definitely a decent shield. So yeah, there's the Gundam Shining Brake before it, absolutely everything equipped. I'll pop it up on the shelf right now so you can see what this looks like up in a collection. I will say, this is mainly larger scale gunpla like master grades and perfect grades, so it may look a little bit lost in here, and definitely that dark, subdued color scheme doesn't really make it pop too much, but still, about average for a high grade. So once again, moving into the build and the articulation, and first off I will mention I'm not going to go through absolutely everything about this kit in this video. You can check that out in this one right here. So if you do want to know all the ins and outs of all the articulation of this kit, then you can check out that full review. As for now, honestly, I do not remember what I said about this kit, so I'm going to do some test poses and just talk about it from there. However, straight away I will mention this has an awful upper thigh joint. This is terrible. It barely holds on and just pops off with next to no resistance whatsoever. You might want to tighten that up a little bit. So if you want to tighten that up, some paint, some top coat, a little bit of super glue, something just to get this part right here a little bit fatter. So let's get him into a big old jumping jack right here. This is testing as high as he can raise his arms, as far out as it can spread its legs, and both are quite good. Not perfect, but not bad. Next up, trying out a crouch, and this I cannot fault. This is very, very nice. Could ask for a little bit more at the ab crunch, but hey, once again, this is a high grade, and this is killing it. I'm especially impressed by the way it can kick its feet back in the way that it does, but usually this is the case with a transforming suit, but it does look so dynamic in a pose like this. Actually, the whole suit looks very dynamic. So next up, I'm just going to try something I feel this kit is pulling off quite well, and that is one of those like forced perspective flying towards the camera kind of vibe poses. So the kind of pointy and angly and leg heavy look of this kit really does work for this kind of pose. Also, it has one hell of a head tilt that allows it to look upwards in that awesome sort of way. This does look so good. Honestly, I feel this is what this pulls off the best. All the lines, all the angles, the way you're able to tilt the feet back in the way that you can, all really align themselves perfectly in a dynamic pose like this. Let's check out that transformation. So as for the transformation, it is incredibly simple. It's just one of those simple spin the head round, spin the legs, pop the shield onto the face kind of situations. All I'll mention is don't try to stick the wrong peg of the shield into the backpack like I did right here and end up with this weird hovery mess. It's actually a deeper peg on the shield that you connect into the backpack. Anyway, this is what it looks like once it's put together, and this is your usual, like I said already, shield on the face style transformation. From above it looks pretty good, from below it looks kind of ridiculous. But hey, if this gets the Gundam around faster, I guess it's worth it. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and just like with the standard version of the Shining Brake, I'm gonna give this silver tier. However, I still don't feel it's as good as the standard release, based only on the quality of the plastic. This is always the case with a darker plastic compared to a light colored plastic. It marks more, the nubs are more obvious, and that is the only difference. Because the only difference between this kit and the older version of the Shining Brake is the white has become a Titans-esque navy blue. So yeah, all the same pros and cons are here for this kit. It's a nice kit, comes with some decent enough accessories. For the most part, it is solid besides the upper leg, and the articulation is nice. It's got a unique, spiky, pointy design, especially around the legs, and all I can say is if you like this kit and you really want it, you've got two options. Buy the standard Shining Brake and just paint the white navy blue, or get this kit. As usual, if you want, you can get it through the link I got mine through down there in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. As always, I cannot end this video right here without thanking each and every one of you guys for watching this video, for dropping a like, subscribing, and of course to each and every one of you that supports me over on the channel memberships or over on Patreon, like Craig Jerry, Tyler Sanders, the ambassador for Asymmetric Cats, Caleb Engelhart, Sean T, and Brian Perez.